I finally bought my first ever Porsche. It's probably the cheapest one in the country. It's a little bit broken and it's very rusty. So if you're a petrol head like me, you always dream of owning a Porsche. I've driven lots of Porsches over the years. The first Porsche I probably drove was when I worked for Mythical Racing about 20 years ago, which was a 996, which the front of a 986 Boxster actually shares the same front end as a 911 996. Since then, I've driven loads of Porsches, to be fair, lots of other people's posh Porsches. My good buddy Aaron's Turbo S, we done a Scotland trip, that's on the channel. My mate Tom lent me his 992 GT3 for the day on a Petrohead Tours. Spent the whole day in that, absolutely loved it. That's probably still my go-to. I'd probably still get 992 GT3. Similar colour to this-ish, if you squint. And I've always wanted a Porsche, but actually owning one has probably never really been on my radar. The closest I've got is my Porsche, which is my MX-5, which I absolutely love. I've given that a lot of abuse. It takes it and it's never missed a beat, apart from it's pretty rusty, probably more rusty than this, but then that's not saying much. And then just last week, I got hit up by my buddy Danny, Dan's Timeless Classics, done a podcast with him the other day, go and check that out, who said, I've got the perfect car for you, get a shot of that MX-5, and I've lined you up with an actual Porsche. He's known the car for a long, long time. It's had lots spent on it. There's a few little niggly things that need doing on it, but it started to go rusty in a few places, and he thought of me straight away, randomly, I don't know why. He put me in touch with the owner, Chris, AKA Smithy Jr., who I've met a few times before. Me and Dom went up yesterday to go and have a look at it, and I managed to coax him into being on camera because he's had the car for so long and he spent so much on it, I couldn't remember everything that he'd done on it. Chris!
Yes.
What have I bought?
98 Porsche Boxster.
Engine?
2.5 litre, flat six.
Flat six. Manual?
Manual, yeah.
5 or 6 speeds?
5 speed.
5 speeds.
200 brake horsepower.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
How long have you had this?
I've had this for about a year at the moment, this time round. I previously had it for 2.5 years, but it was out of my ownership for 2.
Yeah.
So it's been a little break in the middle and I've played with other cars, sort of thing.
And you bought it when it was totally stock?
Yeah, so I bought it from Scotland.
You bought it from Scotland?
Yeah, sight unseen, which you should never do with
Hence why it's got a few rusty bits on it.
That's it. And I had it shipped down and it was my first car.
It's your first car?
Yeah, I had L plates on it.
No, oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. I now feel even more honoured. And then, what have you done to it / had done to it?
Crikey, what else? Okay.
Quite a lot I'm taking from that.
Yeah, we've got Fuchs lightweight wheels on it. We've got track brakes, you know, disc pads, fluid lines, even titanium nipples.
So, you
like a titanium
didn't
nipple.
tell me you had upgraded nipples.
Yeah.
Now I'm even more excited.
We've got full suspension overhaul.
Yep. Because that's the bit that goes on these boxes, right?
But when I was doing all of this, it was very much in mind that I wanted to enjoy it on the road.
Yep.
And I also wanted to take it round track.
Correct, yeah.
So it's not got coilovers.
Yep.
It's got V8 dampeners on it, and it's got the standard MO30 sports
We just been up the road near. It rides really nice.
Yeah, it drives absolutely lovely.
The last thing you want to be, especially at my age, is rattling your
You don't want to go down the road doing this.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
I don't like it either.
No.
It's got a Quaife limited slip diff.
Oh, nice.
It's got a deep sump on it, so we don't get all starvation.
So you've had clutch and RMS, IMS.
Yep, all done.
All done as well.
Because we can guarantee everybody's going to go, oh, but it was going to blow up because IMS.
They're not going to blow up.
No.
You kept with the gingicators.
Yes. Got to keep them.
Shout out to, what's this little sticker?
Flat 6 FM.
Flat 6 FM.
Old Smithy's club, Porsche club.
Old Smithy. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
And what else can we talk about?
Oh, crikey.
I've never seen one with the little...
So yeah, it's a very early car. It was built in 97, but it's 98. Right. Yeah. And it came from factory with the aero kit. But
this is an aero one?
Specific to this generation of Boxster.
But it's not a taco, so we're not going to keep Danny happy with a...
No. So
can we fit a taco wing on there,
You can't
maybe?
keep everybody happy, Rick. So yeah, it's a body kit only for this Manual Boxster. It's not like the Gen 2 body kit, which was for the GT3s as well.
Ah, okay.
So GT3 front bumper.
Got some, everyone likes a shiny tip, but what we got going on there?
Got Toyo Sports, stainless rear muffler.
Sounds quite nice.
So I haven't spent mega money on every part.
Yeah.
There are some parts that are slightly less money,
Yeah.
but they do an amazing job.
Sounds
so it's not
sounds really
like
good.
mega bucks for no reason.
Yeah. And then we've got a couple of bubbles.
We have, unfortunately, she is 25 years old.
Yeah.
And it's got the typical rear arch.
And you won't be able to see it, but just in there. Will my camera fit in there?
Oh, yeah, it can.
There we go, look. There we go. That's all right. I'll be honest, that's the bit that ironically doesn't really worry me that much.
Yeah, I was going to say.
We get the old sparkly glue gun out. As long as you don't mind seeing your Boxster having a angle grinder wielded towards it on film.
Just put a bit of silicone in there with a bit of paint on top.
I've done that on my Mazda. You can't do that. Can't do that on a Porsche. And this looks quite nice. Is this new?
Yeah. So the original roof that I bought for it, inevitably it split. The roof split from the rear screen here.
Perspex back windows.
So I managed to find a virtually new roof on eBay locally.
Yeah.
I went and bought it, fitted it, and it's now got a virtually new.
And is that an
Porsche
easy-ish
OEM.
job?
Yeah. I mean, it's because I bought it with the frame as well. So we've got 3 13 mils each side and 2 Phillips.
Yeah.
And then
Bosh.
out.
Fantastic. It's still got the Perspex back windows. You've got to do the Boxster chop.
Boxster chop.
Nice. What else? Inside. What's happened inside?
Yeah. Got to look at all this.
Ooh. What's this? Oh, this carbon fibre.
Yeah, we've got a bit of carbon kick plates.
How much horsepower does that add?
Oh, I don't know. This would probably beat an SVJ, wouldn't it?
So we'll see when we get on track. These look pretty good. These are actually really comfy, and a rare bucket seat that's actually got a bit of lumbar support.
They're lovely, aren't
when
they?
you're my age and you've been throwing bags of spuds around for the last about 30 years.
That's it.
So yeah, no, they're actually really nice. What are they?
These are Bad Boy Classics. They're based out of Luton. And do you know what? They're one of the most competitively priced buckets, but also one of the best I've ever sat in.
Yeah, they are really, really good.
You don't have to spend mega money on Recaros.
Yeah, no, they're really good.
Obviously, Momo wheel.
Yeah, that's nice.
With a working horn button, which most don't have.
Yeah.
We did.
Oh, Apple CarPlay.
Obviously, Porsche came out with the PCCM Plus, which looks a lot like this.
Yeah.
I didn't want to pay $2,000, so I got the Chinese knockoff version.
Well, there you go. It seems to work.
It works just as good. It's got Apple CarPlay.
Oh, very nice.
So it's all Bluetooth as well, wireless.
Short shifts as well. Feels pretty. If anything, it feels a little bit too tight. So
it's a bit too tight for you.
I might need a bit of adjustment on that. And my arthritic wrists. And then also when we got back, the roof then decided to do a kind of half manual conversion. So we've now done a full manual conversion.
Yeah, it did the typical Boxster thing, and it decided to come off the gearbox cogs, and we just looked at each other and went,
let's do a manual.
Let's just swap it to manual.
Show me quickly a manual roof, because it's actually really, really easy.
Same thing. Unclip it from inside, which is there. Pull the tonneau cover up, if you can get it to go. And then
box the chop.
Down, pop it in, drop.
Bosh, there we go.
And then that will sit down.
So it's like,
there you go.
So it's an MX-5 manual roof conversion.
And it just stops you having any worries about the roof going wrong while you're out and about.
Yeah, that's good as gold, mate. It drives really, really nice. Oh, it looks way better with the roof down as well.
Yeah.
And the roof is going to be down a lot.
Looks really sexy.
It looks really, really nice. Super job, mate.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to mug you for another cup of coffee, then we're going to get on the road.
The cheek, he's had 3.
Thank you ever so much, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Right, back to the studio. So after that, I drove it back from the Midlands, back down to the south coast in the pouring rain. It drives absolutely beautifully. A little bit of a drone from the exhaust. Driving position's really, really good. The seats are really good, even for my dodgy back. Overall, I've been really impressed with it. 24 hours of Porsche ownership. Let's have a closer look around it and see what I bought. So here she is. For a 30-year-old car, nearly 30 years old, I think it looks pretty tidy. Like, it's about 2 or 3 years newer than this. Obviously this is a Honda, this is a Porsche, but this is obviously sat in the corner, it's a bit dusty, looking a bit worse for wear than itself. But everyone that's seen it said, oh, it's a private plate. What's this, like 2005, 2010? I'm like, no, it's 1998 or 1997, we think it is. So a couple of things on it. Someone's driven it into a curb there. Someone's driven it into something there. Bit of sort of crazing on the bumper there. The headlights are pretty shocking. They're really yellowy. I don't think they're lined up properly. You can even see they've got like yellowy bulbs in them. I'm all for doing the fried eggs gingercator things, but the headlights were terrible. There is a bit of some sort of ingress in the windscreen there, and that brown, I'm guessing, is probably some sort of rust off the pillar here. As we saw in the video, there is a bit of rust up in the wheel arch here, and then there is a bit of kind of scabbing and bubbling and that sort of stuff coming off here. We did do a manual roof conversion, and now we've done that, it thinks that the roof is trying to, like, in the middle of being put down all the time. So when you're driving it with the roof down, you can't put the windows all the way up. That's probably some sort of micro switch or something. I don't know. Round this side is probably more of the rust. Let's get my torch on it. Yeah, there's a bit of bubbling there, look. That doesn't look so great. And there's a bit of bubbling there, and a bit of bubbling there, and a bit of bubbling there. Obviously a bit of dirt because I've been driving it around in January with the roof down. A couple of the wheels are a little bit scabby, but I'm sure we get forensics detailing John on the case. Yeah, hopefully that'll come up. If not, I have to repaint them. But overall, it drives really nice. The two things that I'm absolutely amazed by is the size of the frunk and the trunk. So because it's mid-engines, which does mean it's an absolute pig to work on the engine because it's tucked right down in the middle of there, but it does mean you get a boot, which is pretty spacious. That's how you check your oil and water and those sort of bits. Aero spoiler as well, pretty rare. And then around the front, come on, gigantic, look, this is definitely a few bags of spuds worth in there. Look at that. So I'm definitely going to go delivering potatoes with this. I reckon you can get 3 bags in there maybe. Couple in the boot. I think that's pretty good going. It's also got a few warning lights on the dash as well. One is a brake pad wear service warning light or something, even though it's got all new pads and all new discs and new wear indicators. So, but sometimes you go over a bump, it goes out, you go over a bump, comes back on again. The light is also on to say that the roof is not latched properly, even though all the micro switches are in or touched down or like pushed in or whatever, don't know. But that's one of those things with getting a, I don't want to use the word like premium or posh, but it is a Porsche at the end of the day. My MX-5 has not got a lot of those things to go wrong with it because they're not on it. It's a cheap Japanese car. This is a more luxurious German Porsche. I mean, which is maybe also the thing that's been putting me off getting one for a bit. But that's also going to be the problem with any modern car now. When it gets to 10 years old, sometimes not even that, they've got so much technology in them that it's just all a kind of disaster waiting to happen. But the main reasons for buying it is it's had all the major problems done on it mechanically, as far as I'm aware. There's a lot of people buy a 4 or 5 grand Boxster, spend 5 on it, and they've still got a 5 grand Boxster because it's just wear and tear items. This has had RMS, IMS, clutch, uprated diff, all the brakes, disc pads, braided lines I think as well, full service. It's done a lot of miles. It's been round the world 6 times, equivalent mileage. So it's got a few miles on it. But I'll be honest, it drives lovely. I'm going to do a separate driving video because there's a lot to talk about with how it drives, and maybe do a bit of a comparison with my MX-5. But overall, I've genuinely been super impressed with it. I'm still slightly worried, but this is going to be the cheapest way that I can get into the Porsche kind of world. And the last couple of years I've been hanging around with more like Porsche mates, and I think I'm the only one in our little group that hasn't got a Porsche currently. So they were like, get yourself a Porsche, and then I can actually go with them to like Porsche meets and Porsche hangouts and that sort of stuff. So, but overall, I really like the look of it. The spoiler for me is also a seller because it's the only Boxster that I've seen that doesn't look the same on the front and the back. That's kind of a bit of the thing that everyone moans about. You've got orange indicators at the front and the back, and they both kind of slope away, and they just look the same, whereas this has got the little spoiler, and I think it just looks really cool. Really like the wheels, it starts really well. Yeah, I'm impressed. So yeah, massive thank you to my buddy Danny for lining me up with the Boxster, the poor Porsche, I'm not sure what I'm going to call it yet, the Moxster, I don't know. Now it's got a manual roof, are we going to call it the Spud RS? I don't know. I don't know. Well, something will happen. And then also massive thanks to my buddy Don for driving me all the way out to the Midlands to come and get it. And a big thanks to Smithy and Smithy Jr. for your hospitality and talking through all the things that you've done to it and being on camera and constantly replying to my messages of going, oh, what happens if this happens? Oh, where's that? And what this have you put on it? And da-da-da-da-da. So that'll be an ongoing thing. So apologies for that. Stay tuned for more cheap Porsche antics, videos, Instagram, reels, that sort of stuff. I'm not going to bodge it up like the MX-5. I'm going to look after this a bit more properly, but it's still a cheap Porsche at the end of the day. So my proper and your proper are maybe two different things. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm going to see you on the next one. You're going to be famous. You're going to be in the video now.
Yeah, hide it, yeah.